Hello students, welcome to Vijetha IAS Academy. We are continuing emotional intelligence. In this session, we will deal with some more issues which are important to understand the importance of emotional intelligence in civil services. In the previous session, we have seen that various aspects with respect to emotional intelligence and some more. Here we will see some of the pillars, the topic which we have discussed in the previous session. It's going to be continuation of that with some more aspects. This is the part of this utility in administration and governance. That is going to be the important aspect. In the previous session also we have discussed some issues. Some more will come now. Types of emotions. Generally, there are two types of emotions, primary and secondary emotions. Emotional intelligence is all about reading emotions. Human beings are social animals. Human beings are also animals only. From the animal stage only we evolved into human beings. But only difference between animals and human beings is human beings have the capability to understand others and also understand themselves, and they are able to group together. If you understand, for example, gorillas are there. Our closest animal is gorilla apes. Today we are also human beings, gorillas are also there. In Africa also human beings are there, in Asia also human beings are there, in America also human beings are there. Human beings are able to communicate amongst themselves, and all human beings across the world are able to communicate. But is it possible for gorillas or apes in Africa communicating with South America or Asia somewhere? Because the fundamental character of human beings is the ability to communicate, the ability to listen, and also ability to group together. And everywhere on all this, now you can see in the nature itself, in the evolution of human species itself, this kind of characteristics are there in the human animal, and that is something related to the emotions. Every other animal and other animal species also have these kind of emotions. But with respect to human beings, the same emotions are helpful to make human life even more better. Primary emotions like fear. Fear is some emotion human beings also face, other animals also will face. Gorilla also will face, a ape also, a zebra also, camel also, every other animal also face the same fear. Surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, anticipation, joy, trust. So some of the primary emotions that are there in the human species. Secondary emotions are the combination of the primary emotions. For example, contempt, combination of anger and disgust, it becomes contempt. When it comes to optimism, combination of serenity and interest. So something like a combination of 2 or 3 emotions will come as a secondary part of emotion, but primary emotions are like any other animal species and other species. The human beings have the ability to understand them, and if we do not have the skill to understand it, that is where emotional intelligence comes into picture. Because when we are interacting with the humans, when you are interacting with other animal species, when we are interacting with the nature, every day from morning to evening, the interactions are linked with these emotions. That's why we have to understand very well so that we can live a better life. Our standard of life will be improved with these emotions. Otherwise, sometimes you will hear in the society that these decisions are not rational decisions, emotionality has taken, but the results are not coming properly. That kind of examples we are going to see in the common society, because if we don't understand our emotions, we will take decisions Sometimes it may work out, sometimes it may lead to disasters also. To stop such kind of disasters, we have to know our emotions. 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. In the previous session, we have seen in a graphical representation, we are seeing this. These are the 4 pillars: self-awareness, recognize your own emotions, understand how they influence your actions. Suppose when you are reading a book, what kind of emotion is there towards that book? Or suddenly, if you are changing the book to some other subject, then what kind of emotion behind that decision? And suddenly you will close the books and you will go out for playing, and what kind of emotion created? And after some time you will come back and start reading very concentratedly, then what kind of emotion is there? Whenever exam comes, people are fearful, people are afraid of writing examination. What kind of emotion? And if the fear of exam is so great, then people will try to skip the examination also. The fear is an emotion and the action is skipping the exam. If people are very much positive about the exam, they have prepared very well and they are very much enthusiastic to write the exam, a positive emotion, optimistic emotion, confidence emotion will come, and you will write the examination on time. You will go to the examination with more energy and you will perform better in the examination. That is how self-awareness, what kind of emotions are causing what kind of actions. In everyday, day-to-day interaction with speaking with others, doing some kind of actions, taking some kind of decisions, all these are mixed with emotions. This is kind of self-awareness. One of the key pillars of emotional intelligence is to understand those emotions. Without understanding those emotions, how can you solve the problem of others and also for ourselves? If people are fearful about something, then how to overcome it? Children, and it is very important, like some children are very much fearful of speaking in front of others, and it will create a shyness. When they grow, they will not be able to communicate with others. And if we understand it, if a child gradually, when they are grown up, if they understand what emotion is causing them to be shyful, then automatically people will try to overcome that problem. So that is self-awareness, recognizing your own emotions, understand how they influence your actions. Second one, self-regulation. Manage emotions in a healthy way, adapt to changing circumstances. Self-regulation means whatever emotions we are having, how to manage them. That is how emotionally regulating that. Sometimes over anger is also not good for both for the health of an individual and also for the people who are communicating with them. That's why manage emotions in a healthy way. Over happiness, over enthusiasm, over fear, these are all sometimes create certain problems. How to manage them very regularly. Otherwise, sometimes people will love somebody very much, very deeply, and it will create a deep possessiveness, and it will not give the freedom to the other individual. Parents love their children so deep that they will not leave the children for freedom, and they will try to control each and every activity of the children. They will not go out freely, they will not interact with other friends freely, they will not experiment with different aspects in life. Every time, whatever they are going to do, parents are controlling each and every action of the people, children. Children will not develop certain qualities for the society. They will be very much regulated, they will be very much controlled by the parents. This kind of self-regulation is important in terms of parents, like how they have to regulate themselves so that they will give freedom to children also. And when it comes to government level, ultimately we have to apply this to the decision making level at the government level. We are a democratic country. When we are a democratic country, people will try to express their opinion freely. They write some articles in the newspaper, they write something in social media, they do some kind of speech in media houses also, TV. And when everyone is giving some kind of emotional speeches, when you are in a democracy, everybody will try to give the speeches and try to express. But sometimes people take the advantage of the emotion, the advantage of the democracy. Sometimes they may incite violence also in the society. If they are so angry against a particular community, if majority are against minorities, and they may give certain emotionally charged speech, sometimes it may create violence also. When multiple tribal groups are there, that kind of emotionally charged speeches will create tensions within the tribals. That's what in northeastern it is still some issues are going on, and same kind of Hindu-Muslim conflicts used to happen. Caste conflict, upper caste and lower caste conflicts also used to happen. In various aspects, these kind of emotionally charged actions and behavior sometimes creates disturbances, disharmony in the society. People should know self-regulation. Manage your emotions in a healthy way, adopt changing circumstances. When Corona came and all of a sudden people are fearful, what should be done? Fear comes, that is the first one. Understand self-awareness, then regulate, self-regulation. We have to regulate ourselves, that this kind of emotions how to control, so that we will be in a healthy state of mind. That is another pillar. Third one, empathy. Understand other people's emotions, offer comfort and support. If you take very general, like in a school, a child failed in the examination, and when the children fail the examination, some kind of fear will come into their mind, that what will happen when they go to the home, then what parents, are they going to punish him or punish her? Do they scold him? So these kind of fears will be there. If parents understand empathy, understand other people's emotions, parents also will come to know that how to handle this situation. If parents scold them, if parents do not consider the real reasons behind the failure, and if they start beating or scolding, then next time that kind of emotion will persist in the child. Gradually they lose the attention in the education itself, and gradually the bond between parents and also children will break, and that is where some children go out of the control of the parents after some time. That's where empathy is required. That is from the family level. And when it comes to the decision making level, as I said, we are a democratic country. The people who are in government is supposed to understand the feelings of the people. Farmers, for example, farmers are there. Farmers will have some problems, either irrigation challenges or market is not giving remuneration for them. And also when it comes to MSP, they are not getting sufficient MSP. Then when they go for market, the prices, they are farmers, but they have to go for market, and the rice prices of commodities are increasing, inflation is increasing, their income levels are going down. Multiple. Then when they have taken the debt, they are entering into the debt trap. Sometimes the farmers are also committing suicide. Now when these kind of issues are there with respect to farmer section, then the people who are taking the decisions in the welfare of farmers, what kind of decisions are required? Empathy, understand other people's emotions, what farmers are undergoing, what kind of emotions farmers are undergoing. If the decision maker know that what kind of challenges a farmer is facing, the decisions which they are going to take will be in favor of the farmer. Farmers also feel happy. Once a farmer feel confident and safe, then they produce more. And once they produce more, automatically it will benefit the country. So this is how empathy. Now when some minorities are afraid of some kind of new legislation, for example, if legislation is trying to discriminate between majority and minority, if that is the case, the law may be expecting some desired output. Suppose if it creates suspicion among the minorities that they are discriminated and their lives are in danger, There may be truth, there may not be truth, but if people are afraid, if people are fearful, government must know that what kind of feelings they are having. If they understand, government will try to approach the people that this is how, these are the legislation, the purpose of this legislation is not to create a terror in the minds of minorities. This is to benefit the entire country, overall country as a whole. That kind of decision making, that kind of approach to the people will come only when we understand the feelings of others. So we understand ourselves, first pillar, then we regulate ourselves, second pillar, we understand others, that is the third pillar. Then social skills, build and maintain relationship, effective communication. So once I know my emotion, once I know other person's emotions, then communication channel will come. Proper communication between the two sections of the people will be built. Then if there is any mistrust, if there is any fear, if there is any anger, these kind of problems can be solved through effective communication channel. If communication is broken, then the person who is afraid will not express full resentment, and the person who is trying to bring some kind of legislation, they will also not be able to communicate the true spirit of the legislation. You can apply same thing for the opposition also. When opposition is trying to express their anger in the parliament, speaker is supposed to give the chance to the opposition parties. If speaker do not give the chance, then opposition will try to do walkout. Then if they do walkout, then parliament will not function. Ultimately, who is going to be at the losing end? People of the country will be at the losing end. Without much discussion, laws will be passed, and those laws, on whom the laws will be applied? On public only. Then it creates a vicious cycle. Then people are afraid that this new law may create some problems. Then people will start protesting. That's why social skills, communications are required. That's why before bringing any kind of legislation, it should be put in the public domain. People should know, the government must know what the people are feeling. If there are certain genuine concerns from the public side, it should be dealt in the legislation period itself. So that once the legislation is passed, people will not recourse to the protests. That's where always before legislation is passed, if we understand the emotions of public and if we communicate with the public, then majority of the problems can be solved. Otherwise, after passing the legislation, people will protest. Like for example, farmers protest. If sufficient people are not taken into consideration while bringing laws, then after passing the laws, people will protest, and that protest will continue on for many months. Then unnecessarily it is a burden on peasants also, peasants on farmers also, burden on law and order also, and even for the decision makers also, it is unnecessary headache that how to solve this issue. It will complicate the matter. Suppose Naxalism is an issue is there. So this is how, where we are applying this emotional intelligence in decision making. Ultimately, every place you are going to apply this emotional intelligence when you are going to enter into decision making system. Naxalism is there. Why some people, Naxalites are also Indians only. Why some people are having some kind of grievance? And there are some poor people who are attracted to the Naxalism. Is there any real reason? Is it because of the fear of violence, or is it because of some genuine reason they are attracted towards the radical ideologies? Then a decision maker must know the emotion. I don't like Naxalism because with violence nothing can be achieved. That is my feeling. And the moment I see some kind of violence on the ground, then decision maker may get anger also, fear also. Then they may try to take revenge also on the Naxalites. But for that incident, people take the revenge, but the problem will not be solved at the grassroots level. And some other Naxalite issue will come, and in some other place, once again, such kind of killing will take place. Naxalites will attack the paramilitary forces, police, some public representative, any bureaucrat, some important person in the locality. Temporarily, it may not. Temporarily, for some time, you will solve, but in the long run, that is not going to help. That's why Naxalism issue is continuing even after almost 50 years. So that means there is some kind of emotional issues involved. Decision makers must know what are the exact emotions. Lines of communication must be very good. Then only what government is trying to take decisions that will be communicated to the public. Public also will not have any kind of resentment, and they also will try to express their grievances, and two-way communication will help to solve the problems if any problem is arising. So that is how, when it comes to self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy and social skills. Issuing ration cards, one example. Issuing health cards, another example. When you are working in a railway department, if you are working in finance department, if you are working in income tax department, everywhere these challenges will be keep coming. When any person is there, then communication between senior and junior civil servant must be continuous. Suppose from the senior point of view, senior must know self-awareness, emotions of himself, self-regulation, controlling it, empathy, understanding the junior's emotions, then social skills, communication between juniors and seniors must be there. Then only in the system, healthy communication will happen, healthy lines of decision making takes place. Overall, the system will perform very efficiently. This is how, with respect to the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. So you apply in different examples. It could be terrorism, it could be communalism like Hindu-Muslim, it could be between caste, upper caste, lower caste, it could be language issue, majority language people may try to impose on the other sections of the people, another issue. And with respect to states and center, states are not getting funds from the center, and how they can get, understanding the emotions of the people. In the budget allocation, on what basis people are giving the budgets to different parts of the country. So each and every rural versus urban, slum people, and how to you can understand the emotions of the slums. That is where you apply as a decision maker, apply in the administration very clearly that way this emotional intelligence, understanding our emotions, regulating our emotions, understanding others' emotions, and keeping the communication lines safe continuously so that people will understand each other. Problems will not arise. Once a problem comes, it will create larger problems. There is one more issue, that is emotional quotient versus intelligent quotient. Generally, whether emotions are important or intelligence is important, some kind of debate used to happen. And what is the difference between emotional quotient and intelligent quotient? EQ is a measure of person's level of emotional intelligence. It refers to a person's ability to perceive, to control, evaluate and express emotions. Suddenly people become very angry. If they, suppose if senior is there, the moment the junior comes and says something, immediately senior bursts out. And now emotional quotient of that particular officer is not good. Here, emotions are not, emotions will come for every animal. That's what, we are part of animals, and in this everywhere, in every life, these emotions will be there. But how we are going to, ultimately, emotions should not kill the atmosphere. Emotions should not destroy the atmosphere. Emotions should not destroy the relationship between the people. Emotions should not cost the department. If we don't want such kind of outcomes, then in the beginning place itself, right from the emotion itself, people must have some kind of intelligence how to handle these emotions. If people have to understand, if people want to control these emotions, first of all, we should know what kind of emotions are there inside us. That self-awareness matters, then regulation. So how far the personal levels of emotions are being understood by that person, controlled by that person and utilized by that person, that will decide how much emotional quotient a person is possessing. Intelligence means it is a score derived from one of several standardized tests designed to assess an individual's intelligence. It is used to determine academic abilities and identify individuals with off-the-chart intelligence or mental challenges. So this is something related to intelligence, like how reasoning people are solving the problems, decision making, or when there is a challenge, if there is a problem, how these people are trying to solve that problem. It derived from several standardized tests. People will be given certain tests, like some mathematics test will be given, like a basic functioning of some like mathematics, basic mathematics, how the brain is thinking to solve in that test. People will be given some kind of images, they are shown some images, and how people are thinking about that image, what kind of image, what kind of information that image is projecting. So people will have the reasoning ability. People by solving certain kind of standardized tests, people by analyzing some kind of images, people will have some kind of skills when you possess, when you give some kind of questions on English, like language, command over language, command over mathematics, command over general knowledge, command over general awareness. All these issues based on certain standard test, whether they have certain information in their brain, whether they are able to solve based on that information if any problem is posed before them. That is intelligence quotient. Emotional quotient means what kind of, for example, if you take a test, let us take, if there is a mathematics test, a child is supposed to write the test, a student is going for the test, mathematics test is there. Intelligence quotient means how effectively they can solve that mathematics paper, intelligent quotient. Emotional intelligence means the moment they have the mathematics test, are they fearful, are they anxiety, are they happy? Emotions will come. Depending on their intelligence level, depending on their preparation level, emotions will start in the brain. If people are afraid, and how well they are managing, that is emotional quotient. Once examination starts, how well they are solving the questions, that is intelligence quotient. You are writing a IAS examination, when you go for prelims, how well you are going to solve the prelims question paper, intelligent quotient. But before going to the examination, so many emotions will come in the brain, and how well are you managing these emotions, emotional quotient. So both are required to perform well, to excel in any field. A student should have both so that they can excel in their academic career. A sports person should have both emotional quotient and intelligence. Then only they can play very well, and also before starting the match, they will be very much emotionally very stable, consistent. And suppose after hard work also, if a student fail in the examination, emotional quotient is required, that how to manage this stress. Otherwise, students will break out. Once they break, then emotionally if they break, then it becomes very difficult to come back. Intelligence, that test may be one incident of the life, but it doesn't mean that is the life. That test is not the entire life. But emotions will come everywhere, how to handle those emotions in day-to-day basis. That is what emotional quotient and intelligence quotient. A sports person is required, a student is required, a teacher is required, and a decision maker is required, a farmer is required, an employee is required. Everywhere this is required, but there is a difference between emotions and intelligent quotient. EQ is centered on abilities such as identifying emotions, evaluating how others feel, controlling one's own emotions, perceiving how others feel, using emotions to facilitate social communication and relating to others. Suppose if there is a problem solver, a district magistrate, you become district collector, then there is some kind of dispute between two political parties, and finally they will come to the dispute settlement in front of the IPS or district collector, there could be different challenges at different levels. Police will deal certain issues and the collector deal with certain issues. Suppose when there is an issue, it came in front of IPS, then IPS, the moment suddenly if two parties are fighting against each other, it will develop some emotions even in the dispute resolver also. They should control, police also should control the emotions. At the same time, IPS must know what is the emotion of two different parties. Then how you ensure the communication between two rivals so that the problem can be solved between two. Emotions are required, and emotional quotient is required for district collector also. Same, everywhere this kind of problems will come. Many complaints used to come against the local MLA, many complaints used to come against the MP, or many complaints come against with respect to municipal management. If you are a municipal commissioner and everyday complaints will come that municipality is not functioning properly, then how you are going to resolve it? People will be having more emotions, and when they come with emotionally charged atmosphere, then how the problem can be solved peacefully, stable, consistently. Otherwise, if somebody comes and when many people come and start questioning, if civil servant himself or herself are afraid of the situation, then they are not going to solve it. So it is a very responsible position, it is a very demanding position in the present day administration of the country. If people come with a lot of problems, how the decision maker, how the administrator, how the bureaucracy is going to function? Emotional quotient centered on abilities such as identifying emotions, evaluating how others feel, controlling one's own emotion, perceiving how others feel, using emotions to facilitate social communication and relating to others. IQ represents abilities such as visual and spatial processing, knowledge of the world, reasoning, working memory and short-term memory, and quantitative reasoning. So suppose when there is a terrorist attack, example, the moment terrorist attack is there, then army should go or special force must go to rescue the operation. Suppose terrorists have taken hostage, then how the security forces will respond to the situation? Immediately to create terror in the minds. Then we need both emotional quotient as well as intelligent quotient to solve the problem. Both are required, but there is a difference between them. Emotional means what kind of emotions immediately we will get, and understanding the emotions of the hostages, understanding the emotions of even terrorists also, what kind of emotions they will come up with and what can they do, what maximum possible destruction they can do, and what kind of maximum damage it can happen to India and also to the hostages. So emotionally understanding all the aspects. Then when it comes to intelligent quotient, from where we can go and neutralize the terrorist, from where hostages can be freed freely without harm, then how they are going to solve this crisis with intelligence. Intelligence will come like who is supplying the weapons, who is supplying the information, who is supplying continuous information for these terrorists, and what are their demands, and how to ensure that their demands can be resolved. On one hand, you have to negotiate with them intelligently, and at the same time security forces have to go and solve the issue. So multiple things, both knowledge also required to resolve this crisis, at the same time emotions also required to resolve this. Otherwise, the inside the hostages, outside the families will be there, how the families are going to respond, and the decision maker have to resolve, safeguard the hostages and also manage the emotions of family members outside the campus, outside the particular society or particular incident. So many emotions, at the same time intelligence is required how to resolve this critical problem very smoothly. Components of emotions, affective component. So these are very deep level of issues with respect to emotions. Like 4 pillars we have seen. difference between emotional quotient and intelligent quotient also, and some more components like affective. It refers to conscious and subjective feeling. Individuals monitor their internal felt stress states and recognize what they are feeling. Affective, just understanding. When it comes to attitude, we have three different components, like what we feel and what knowledge we possess, cognitive component, affective component, and behavioral component, that is attitude. So that attitude also has one emotion component also, how we feel. Emotional intelligence is about knowing these aspects. Affective. Cognitive, it involves describing or assigning meaning to the emotions. Thus thinking about a feeling is very different from the actual feeling. Generally you used to hear this, when you go for interview, you feel something but you don't know how to express it. Suppose when suddenly there is an accident, you feel that that should not happen, you feel the sadness, but you don't know how to express these emotions, or you don't know how to read these emotions exactly what is happening inside. Sometimes people are afraid when some kind of bad incident happened, or when kind of terrorist activity happened, or rape incident happened, when some kind of bomb blast happens. They feel it, they fear it, but they cannot express what exactly happened or what exactly happening inside their emotions. They cannot read. That reading component is also very, very important. One is the emotions component, another one is understanding and how to read those emotions, cognitive. Psychological, it refers to bodily reactions such as palms sweating upon feeling anxious. So psychological, like the outside sweat will come. Even while we are speaking also, our words will not come properly when there are either out of a fear, anxiety, then this kind of psychological feelings and also the outside appearance also will come. Motivational, it refers to specific actions that the individual takes that may be voluntary or involuntary. Immediately people will react. Suppose when snake comes, all of a sudden fear will come, sweating will come, and suddenly people will try to jump also. Everything is happening in a fraction of seconds. Affective, cognitive, psychological, motivational. Expressive, it refers to displaying emotions through facial expressions such as smiling or crying, etc. So first some emotions will come, affective, then internally reading them, what is exactly happening inside, then outside appearance in the form of sweating, something, then actions also will be there, motivational, what we do, what we don't do, and expressive through different like movements of the body, movements of the eyes, movements of lips, smiling or crying, different kinds of. So all of a sudden, suppose when children are suddenly were afraid, fearful of something, then immediately they will start crying. But inside they are feeling something, and but they don't know how to involve, how to read it, but suddenly they will start crying. But emotional intelligence required understanding one by one, one by one. So people, those who have emotional quotient, high emotional quotient, those who are good in emotional intelligence, they are very good in dissecting one by one what exactly is happening in me and how to understand those emotions inside me, then what is happening in the outside for my body, then what action I am supposed to do, and is there any some other thing, motivational and also behavioral, expressive, some kind of facial expression is something is happening. So all these things a person will be very much aware, conscious about all these, then only people will be able to analyze the emotions and understand the emotions, so that they get a lot of intelligence about emotions. Then emotional intelligence is a quality of a person how to handle these emotions very constructively. Functions. Function generally broadly, it is like intrapersonal functions. That means we can talk ourselves. Generally people used to go for meditation. What is the purpose of meditation? It is a deep state where people themselves will understand their inside emotions, inside their consciousness. When it comes to outside communications, also important, but first we have to communicate with ourselves. First we have to read ourselves. We have to know our weakness, our strength, and what is happening inside. When we read about ourselves, if we possess good emotional intelligence, we will read it. That is the function of emotional intelligence. If we are good in emotional intelligence, we will know how to read within what is happening inside us also. It refers to the functions that emotions serve within individuals. They help one guide behavior and make decisions to survive and function as human beings. They inform us when to fight and when to leave a dangerous situation comes. Suddenly, snake comes, whether to react, to stay there or to go away from there. So that's where when terrorist activity happened, what should be done immediately? When some kind of accident happened, what should be done immediately? So this kind of emotions we have to know immediately, and we have to understand what should be done on the spot. Interpersonal, how to communicate with others also, it will serve. Because emotional intelligence is all about I know myself and I know others also. Then immediately, if I know clearly what I am thinking, if I can guess what exactly the other person can think, then there is a chance that a proper line of communication can be established. It refers to functions that are performed by emotions between individuals. Expression serves as an indication to others about how one might feel about them. Suppose whenever somebody crack a joke, people laugh. That means you are responding and communicating through that other person that you are liking that. Even if a joke is cracked, but you are very serious, that means you are not liking that kind of joke. So that is a communication between them. That is how emotions will create certain kind of signals that act as a communication between two. If you feel happy, you will smile. If you are not feel happy, you will be silent or you will show anger. Then that is a kind of communication. For instance, positive facial expression smile encourages others people to approach us, whereas showing sadness may stimulate others to show empathy. If we smile, that means we are approachable, other people will come and try to talk with us. That is establishing communication. If we are sad, other person will come to know that the person is in sad mood, then we should show empathy, sympathy, that what is happening, like that. So every day we will undergo this. So interpersonal between people, intrapersonal within ourselves. Social and cultural functions. Socially communicating with not between individuals but with the larger sections. It refers to functions that are performed by emotions in the construction and maintenance of societies and culture. Emotions such as trust often act as a social guide, social glue that keeps groups together. For example, nationalism is an emotion. India as a nation is able to maintain its sovereignty without breaking into multiple countries. Even after 75 years of independence, India is still able to maintain its sovereignty. One reason is the feeling of nationalism. Emotion of nation, Mera Bharat Mahan, people used to say that. So that kind of emotion comes, that emotion is making us to stay as Indians together. Otherwise, with us in 1940s, there are different countries also who got independence from the colonial masters. But after becoming countries from colony, they became individual countries like Yugoslavia. But within few decades, Yugoslavia, the country divided into multiple small countries in Europe. Sudan is a country divided into North Sudan and South Sudan, two different countries. Pakistan became into East Pakistan and Bangladesh, West Pakistan, that is Pakistan and Bangladesh. Likewise, there were different countries till they are facing, because the kind of emotion as a nation, if it is weak, then it creates a trouble. But in case of India, nation as a one, we are all Indian, the feeling of that oneness, we are all Indians, whether you are in Northeast, whether you are in South India, whether you are in Kashmir, whether you are in Tamil Nadu, the feeling is same, that we are all belongs to same country. That is making India as a nation. That's what social component or social function. These emotions will enable that India as a nation try to survive. And if people are emotionally very patriotic towards the country, people will try to follow the norms of the government very strictly. They pay the tax on time. They will not destroy the government buildings or other buildings. They will not unnecessarily spit on the roads also. They want to clean the streets very clean. Swachh Bharat, they make a very successful campaign, and they follow the norms very strictly. And they will not show prejudice against other religious people, because they also feel as a nation only. They will not show prejudice against other tribes, because they also feel the same Indian. They will not undermine other caste people, undermine other language people, because everybody is part of same family. So that's what, within family, like family stay together because of emotion. As a country also, people stay together because of these emotions only. That is how the function of emotional intelligence will help us to understand how to maintain this unity and integrity of the country. Importance. So this already we have seen in the previous session also, and some more examples. What should be, what are the advantages in civil services if we possess emotional intelligence? For targeting policies better, if a bureaucrat is there, bureaucrat was given in charge of distributing houses, distributing ration card, distributing health cards, distributing gas cylinders, then emotionally they will be very stable, irrespective of the pressure from the government or pressure from the opposition parties or pressure from the political parties, pressure from the friends, relatives. They will only focus on how to target the beneficiaries, how to ensure the benefits. Bureaucrats need to know emotions, moods and drives of person at whom public policy is targeting for better acquaintance with the nature of problems in society and their possible solutions. Suppose if there is a rich person, are you taking the policy in favor of the rich people or in favor of the poor people? Better targeting will come when we understand the emotions of the public, emotions of the poor people. If we don't understand, if we are apathy, that means not concerned about the poor people, our decisions also will not be in favor of them. At a superficial level, we will try to target, but the benefits, real benefits go to the other people who are not beneficiaries. For motivating subordinates, it helps seniors, helps in comprehending emotions of others. Thus, the emotionally intelligent civil servant can motivate subordinates towards a particular goal. Senior will try to motivate the people, subordinates. So, the senior and subordinate relationship will maintained very healthily. If this relationship is not healthy, the decisions will not see any kind of result at the ground level, because senior will take the certain decision, subordinates will not follow the decision, and at the ground level result will not come. If you want to see the output at the ground level, then the chain of command must function very effectively. Senior, subordinate must be in communication properly. Then only whatever the top level goal is there, that will percolate at the ground level also. That's why Delhi will have certain goals, but at the ground level those goals are not met. Why? Because of this chain of command, people are not able to communicate with each other properly, and as a result the decision flow will not be there properly, feedback mechanism also will not be there properly. Overall, the public will be at the losing end. That's why targeting, motivating the subordinates also to communicate and to do the goals properly. Stress management, every day this civil service job is included with stress management, that expectations from so many quarters, and sometimes people may not be able to understand and adjust the circumstances. To manage this stress, emotional intelligence will help. For change, if people want to change the society, then automatically you have to understand the emotions of the people. Then only it can bring certain changes, schemes and programs which will appeal to the people. Otherwise, people will think something, if a scheme will be something else and output will not be there. People will not own that. Then if people do not own it, then change will not come. change. Person is more likely to try new things, take risk and face new challenges without fear. It will help in finding innovative solutions in different problems. Kashmir problem is there, how to innovatively solve it. Northeast problem is there, how to innovatively solve it. Naxal problem is there, how to innovatively solve it. Then corruption is there, how to solve it innovatively. Governance is not reaching the poor people, how to solve innovatively. Rich and poor divide is there, how to solve it. Poverty is there, how to solve it. Digital divide is there, how to solve it. Quality education not there, how to solve it. Quality healthcare not there, how to solve it. So in this way, many innovative solutions will come if we are able to understand the emotions, then change is possible. Decision making. Obviously, once we know emotions from all the quarters, once we know knowledge from all the quarters, decision making also going to be high quality. Then for maintaining balance in life, for better communication and personal life as well as professional life can be maintained in harmony. Then like these are the examples, like generally what kind of solutions, what kind of problems we can remove. These are very broadly like principles, like decision making, problem solving, communication, but really in the country what are the challenges are there and how they can be eliminated. Problems like increasing regional economic digital divide, we can solve it. Widespread application of IT, information technology, and people have to change it, but people are not able to understand this new atmosphere, how to take it to the local level. Demand for improved governance, issues getting politicized easily, political pressure and rampant corruption, decentralization of governance and grassroots level, thereby increasing responsibilities, issues of globalization, migration, terrorism, cyber crimes, information technology, etc. So these are various challenges. Every day challenges are coming for the civil servants. Like once India used to face the threats from directly invasions from ground. During British time period, invasions came from the ocean. Now invasions are coming in a different form. Cyber security attacks. Then how to handle it? If suddenly an important department, nuclear department hacked by some cyber security crime, then immediately we have to be alert. Otherwise, immediately our entire national security is at stake. We have to handle it very emotionally, very stable mind. Then only we can understand and solve the problem very carefully. Otherwise, if we are fearful, we cannot get the solution. Cyber crimes, terrorism, globalization, pressure on the globalization. Like suppose Ukraine-Russia war starts and it suddenly disturbs the whole chain. Oil supply will be going down, gas supply will be going down, our exports to those areas also will come down. Indians are trapped in that conflict zone, we have to handle it. Because of the globalization, interactions are more, challenges are also more. New challenges will be keep coming every day, how to handle them very emotionally stable manner. Otherwise, if we do not understand our emotions and understand emotions of others, our decision making quality will not be there. Overall, national security will not be served. Unity, integrity of the country cannot be served if we are not emotionally stable. So these are various issues with respect to emotional intelligence. So with this, we have completed emotional intelligence chapter as well. Thank you. We will meet in the next session with the next chapter. Thank you.